Okay, and lastly, we're going to go over how to input your appraisal report once it's completed. Now HUD has developed a system called the P260 system. What this does, it's basically a data entry system along with an upload of your appraisal. Now, what we have done, we have digitized this system and made it somewhat of a QC system for you as you upload your appraisal. And what we're going to do in this section, this is a real brief section, and we're going to explain what the requirements are, how to fill out the fields, and again, this is to increase the overall productivity to our clients, as we can take your information and automatically shoot it to HUD system without any retyping. This is the screen you're going to see when you go to upload your appraisal report. It basically is going to prompt you to the data entry screen, and the data entry screen is just a reiteration of what you've already entered in your report, and it's outlined here. Most of this information can be entered, or actually all this information, if it's fresh in your mind, you can enter it within 5 minutes and with little effort at all. Given that this is a HUD developed form, there's some items here that need to be explained further, so I'm going to go over them now. The case number on the top is always going to be the FHA case number. The certification number is not necessary. The phone number would be your contact phone number and your email address. The assigned date would be the date it was assigned to you. The ordered and received date, you can put the same date for those two items. There's an as is, and you'll note there's an as or a repaired value here. Now, as we went over before, HUD does not even require a repaired value. What you should be putting here, just reiterate the as is value. The neighborhood pricing, that's a kind of odd verbiage there also, but what they're looking for is the predominant price that you noted in your report. All these other items are pretty much self-explanatory. The construction key at the top of the page, basically you want to know if it's an existing structure, a proposed structure, or one that's under construction. The average age, again, we don't provide an average age in our appraisal report. What we should be noting here is your predominant age. And like I said, everything else here is pretty much self-explanatory. Going to move on to the next page. These are all just general fields that are contained in your report. We ask that you do take, again, like I said, a few minutes and make sure these items match what you already noted in your report. Now the last page, there's a list of repairs here, and these repairs should only be what you noted to be minimum property repairs. They don't want to know what your cosmetic repairs were. They want to know what the list of repairs that you noted in your appraisal report and their cost to cure. From this point, you can press save and upload, and you'll be directed to the standard upload appraisal field. We have to insist that, again, you take your time and accurately complete those fields. If we continually have to go back and change fields, your overall volume of work may be adjusted, given that it takes us more time to review and edit your data. And we're at the end of our course now, so I'm going to stop one last time to see if you guys have any questions. Go ahead, Edgar. Go to Dwight. Dwight, did you have a question? No more? Lori, was there a question? Okay, well, I think we're pretty much set. I'm going to also give you, actually, where's it? Now, James is asking the question on prior sales info. Do you want the date the property was foreclosed upon? That would have been a transaction. So yes, you definitely want to note the transaction date, and you can note the transaction amount. In your analysis of the sales history, you can note that the prior transaction amount was a foreclosure value. So that would be enough analysis for the report. Let's see what else we have. Now, this webinar has been recorded. We will be placing it on our website for you to review. I suspect it to be placed within the next week or so. So if you need to go back and reference it, you can. What else do we have? Okay, Edgar has a question. What if you have a non-REO sale that sold for $60,000 and a non-REO that sold for $120,000? You choose to use both because they meet all criteria. You reconcile those two and 5 more. I still get questions as to why I chose to use both REO and non-REO sales. Now, Edgar, you should really only be using REO sales when you have determined the property to be located within an REO market. Often, REO sales will meet the criteria. However, they do not make sense in the report if you are not dealing with an REO market. So that should be your first determination, and that should be also supported within your 1004MC. If your 1004MC notes that you do not consider this an REO market, yet you are using REO sales, you'll definitely get a kickback. And using an REO sale in a non-REO market would give us that large value range. $60,000 to $120,000 is not really giving the reader a good picture of what is going on in that market. So now, if you have any further questions that weren't addressed today, I'm going to give you some numbers that you can contact. You can always email me. My email address is A as in Anthony, Z as in zebra, A as in Anthony, Z as in zebra, U as in umbrella, E as in Edward, T as in Tony, A as in Anthony, at LRES.com. I'll answer any questions that weren't answered here in this webinar. Also, you can call and speak to any of our staff appraisers at any time by calling our main office number and asking to speak with the staff appraiser. We actually encourage you to call prior to you sending in your report on any items in the report that you may have a question on. If you have a question in regards to the order itself before you've done any work on it, you want to contact the associate's name that is on the order sheet. If there's any questions in regards to a correction request you may have received, you want to respond to the email promptly, or we encourage, again, for you to call and get a verbal explanation as to what the correction is and how exactly to deal with it. So lastly, again, I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight, and have a nice night.